Okay.
So the next call is a split call, 5 minutes each. Dr Duncan Webb.
Well, I hope 5 minutes, Madam Speaker, is enough to explain to the member what's wrong with cartels and why they are, in fact, criminal behaviour. Because I'll tell you what, let's just think for a minute what's going on here. What's going on is price stripping, taking wealth from consumers and moving it to corporates. So let's talk about price fixing. In a competitive market, the so-called market that lot over there, the other side of the house promotes, would see a price equilibrium, a fair price which gives fair profits to the producers and a fair price to the consumers. What a cartel does if we price fix, it bumps the price up. It's an agreement, it's a cartel agreement to ensure that the consumer pays too much, that the money goes illegitimately from the consumer to the corporate. And you know what? Look at this little word in the Act, that it intends, that the person intends that to occur. That's what makes it criminal, that someone intends to get money they're not entitled to. And for that, the penalty could be up to 7 years inside, because you know what? It's just like theft. It's getting money you're not entitled to. It's not rocket science. It's pretty straightforward. If you take money, if you strip money from a class of people that you're not entitled to, whether it be through price... Sorry, Madam Speaker. If the corporates do that, then they should be. It's all very nice to say we don't want to chill too much activity on the part of these directors, these company directors. Look, it intends, the law protects people. There's such a thing as burden of proof and beyond reasonable doubt, and that's the protection. The prosecution will have to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the person engaged in this conduct intended to do so. And if they did, then that is deeply wrong. It's taking, and that's why they should go to jail. And you've asked for evidence. Well, I'll tell you what, you don't have to go far. The last government got that evidence. The Ministry for Economic Development, way back in 2010, did a report on this. And you know what they said? The civil penalties regime is not good enough. It's not a deterrent. So what we have here is something that will be a deterrent. It turns out, if you look at the record, and only in 2016 the Commerce Commission said they are having more cartels. They're increasing their work around cartels. It's on the rise. So what we have is a regime that's not working. We are needing greater deterrence, and that's what we've got here. And it's not enough to say, look, you really oughtn't have done that. We're going to take some of those profits away from you, whether it be a 3 times the profit earned or whether it be a $10 million, whatever it might be. It turns out when you're playing with the numbers that some of these industries are playing with, it's good business to take a risk. You might get caught, but let's take the gamble. Well, let's set it apart for what it is. It's deeply wrong, it's taking, it's illegitimate. Let's criminalise it, and let's make sure that people who go down that road knowing what they're doing pay the appropriate price. And that's what we need. So look, you know, when we think about it, we've got defences in there for legitimate conduct, because cooperation in industries is sometimes necessary, it's sometimes appropriate, and if that's existing, the current legislation, unlike the last go at it, didn't have that. That is a legitimate defence. So what we have here is an appropriate response, not one that we're going to put into the water, then get lobbied terribly about and have Chapman Tripp say it's a bad idea and have the Institute of Directors say it's a bad idea and do a U-turn on. No, it's one that this government is committed to because it is an entirely appropriate step. And what beggars belief is that you've got a step here which is looking to make sure that the market is preserved, that it operates effectively, and we've got an opposition that's saying, no, we don't want that. We want to go back to Paul Goldsmith's world where we want to give a free pass to company directors so that if they get into a bit of strife, even though they intended to embark upon this course of action, they're not criminalised for it. It is wrong. It is taking. Price fixing is utterly illegitimate, as is any other arrangement, such as organising regional procurement or sales regimes. Those kinds of things might be complex. They might take a lot of resources of the Commerce Commission, but we've got a stamp on them because they take large amounts of wealth from the New Zealand public, and that's got to stop. Thank you, Madam Speaker.